Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song 10 Feet Down from NF and his album Perception. I'm musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. In these videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in, see what's going on with this song. All right, on 10 Feet Down, NF talks about his life after gaining popularity and how people often want to get to the top so bad they forget why they even did it in the first place. The track is a slower track, similar to Remember This and My Life. It also features the only feature on the album, Ruelle, which was pretty great. The intro and outro of the tracks are played in reverse, which is why the lyrics are in italics. So let's get up and see first that opening. All right, listen, I'm not going to try to read that even though I thought about it. Let's go ahead and see what it says. In reverse, the intro outro reads, cold nights, long night, staring down at an empty cup like I'ma fill it up, all night, 10 feet down, nearly my whole life, but I'll be rising up. 10 feet down is an interesting thought, and maybe we'll get more context within the song. I'd just be curious of the specifics around 10 feet down, because obviously like 6 feet under is something we're familiar with, which tends to be with, being buried. Let's go ahead and jump in here and see if there's anything specific, like if it's a common phrase first. Informal phrase, depends on context. If someone says they're 10 feet down in something, it usually means they're fully in, past the point of backing out. I don't think. Or in trouble, 10 feet down and still digging. So it could either mean, here's what I'm thinking. It's deeper than casual involvement, but not absolute finality. Like 6 feet under, it implies serious depth with consequences, but not total loss. Let's see if it can pick up on in NF's song. Emotionally, mentally trapped beneath the surface. So I guess it's just used possibly to talk about even further than 6 feet under. I don't know, let's see. I know the person in the mirror is not a perfect one. I look at him every day and think he's not enough. My life's a book that I don't really like to open up. I'm 26, but I feel like I live in chapter 1. I skim through it. I've been through it. They laugh at us. You think it's funny? Yeah, laugh it up. I always felt like no one listened to me. That's how I grew up. Church is where I found God, but it's also where I learned to judge. It's an interesting statement, because he's... Here's the thing. Much of the Bible exists because the church, especially in the New Testament, where the church, really takes its footing and becomes, what it is that God had planned all along. But the realization is that most of the New Testament is written as the church is being established because there are so many issues. Like Paul's letters, the first part of even Revelation, when Jesus is speaking to John about the church, there are encouragements, but there are also warnings. And Paul, in his letters to the church, you're talking about 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Colossians, Philippians, and so on and so forth. Yes, there are encouragements in there, but a lot of it is laying foundation for doctrine, understanding who God is and what he's called us to, dealing with issues, not only from within the church, so the encouragement to stop gossiping, stop lying, love one another, forgive one another, but also like, hey, don't stand still, be in motion, go do something. Also speaking to obviously our internal lives, but so much of it is written because we are broken people and we need help and we need direction. And so even in F saying here, churches where I found God, yes, 100%. Most churches, I would say, are a place that you can be introduced to an authentic representation of who Jesus is. But no church is perfect, and there are 100% very corrupt and broken, and churches that I think would fall in that category of like the church of Laodicea that Jesus speaks to in Revelation. And he's like, hey, listen, there's some really wicked things going on. And I'm telling you, please correct these things, or it's not going to go well with you. And so in the same sense, yes, church is a place that I think you can be introduced to an authentic Jesus, but it is also a place that doesn't get it right all the time. And so NF saying like, I found God there, but I also kind of became a little bit judgmental there. 100%. I think that any true Christian can recognize that. And the hope is, though, that we're all doing our part, because we are the church, to continue to produce, to continue to put forward an honest representation of who Jesus is. I had to learn there's a difference between what you want and what you really need. I've always been motivated by comments from people telling me things they think I'll never be, and then I become it. This is my everything. Yeah, I think all of us. And again, I don't think your primary motivation in life and in accomplishing things probably wants to be driven by like, I'll show you, but there's no way that you can separate the fact that it is a little bit of fuel, right? There is something within you when somebody says, oh, you can't do that. It's like, okay, bet, game on. There's so much that goes on in my head that people will never see. You'll probably be terrified of my memories. Don't lecture me. Let me be, let me see, let me breathe. How they remember me doesn't alter who I am as a person to take my energy. Hard days, cold nights. I love this whole chorus. Staring down at an empty cup like I'm going to fill it up. So I was right in the sense that the intro and outro is just this in reverse. And it is interesting too, to look at your life or what you're trying to accomplish and feel like this is an empty cup, especially anything new that you begin. It's an empty cup. And you're like, okay, that empty cup can be very, and again, I think he's separating. I don't think he's talking about necessarily himself as an empty cup here, because that's a different thing. And I think a different conversation, especially in a Christian context of God filling you up and you putting yourself in the place of prayer, in the place of reading scripture, the place of worship, and just being like, God, I'm so empty. I feel so tired. Like, fill up this cup, please. So that's a different thing than I think what he's talking about here. It's really looking at like your career, the thing you want to achieve, that it is an empty cup at first. And for some people, they hold that and they go, dang, dude, that's too much. And maybe put the cup down. But then there are other people that look at it and go, all right, day one, let me fill this thing up. I'm going to work and pray and believe and work and wait and work and fill this thing up. My fans made me who I am, but they also deceived me. I've been alive, but lived life like I'm already grieving. Interesting. I'm at a table of liars, but don't eat what they feed me. My hoodie over my face so nobody can see me. I'm on a plane about to fly again, looking out the window, take a moment to admire it, wondering how high it is, wondering where the time has went. Then I shut the window, go back to feeling like I'm out of my mind again. This is probably a callback, and we'll click and see here in a moment. He has in one of his songs on Therapy Session, the one about flying to New Zealand, kind of being up in the clouds. So yeah, Nate talks about his career currently being on flight mode, meaning he's moving up in the rap game, reaching new heights. He didn't think he could reach heights in which he's headed right now, so he's admiring it and appreciating it. He often uses this metaphor in songs in the end of the music video for his song Ruelle. Nate is on a plane, which is getting ready to take off. It uses a metaphor how his career is about to take off. Because of Nate's fame and busy rapper life, he's often on planes traveling and visiting cities and states in which he's performing. In his song Statement, Nate talked about his often traveling in planes and what it means to him. I used to dream of these moments. I'm living them now. Look up to heaven like, Mom, are you proud? I'm on the way to New Zealand. I'm up in the clouds. So yeah, that's what I was referencing. It seems like we're all trying to climb a ladder. It's crazy that we'll do what we'll do to climb it faster. It's like we throw away the things in life that really matter just so we can make it to the top and wonder what we're even climbing after. Man, this is such a strong, poignant line, because in your pursuit of filling that cup, you have to be wise. We have to be careful, because you could fill it up and be like, ha, I did it. And then you got this whole other cup over here. Maybe let's take the other one I was talking about, the spiritual side, which put in there your family, your relationships, these things that really matter. So your own soul, your own character, if you're just focusing on filling that cup of achievement and you let this one run dry, you're going to stand here with a full cup and nobody to share it with, nothing to do with it, and you're going to feel empty and broken over on the other side. I know the feeling of feeling like everything that you deal with don't ever change. It's part of being human. Life's what you make of it. Take it, embrace it, and take it and savor it. I love those lines. Ain't about what you did, it's about what you became from it. Yes, 100%. And that's what I was talking about with those two cups, right? Yes, go achieve, do some great things, but what did you become from it? We all want what we never had. This is from Ruelle. The good life doesn't seem so bad. The good life doesn't seem so bad. Yeah, we all want what we never had. This is interesting. I'm trying to figure out here, and maybe you can let me know in the comments. We all want what we never had. So again, that speaks to that idea of achieving, whether that is relationship, whether that is financial prosperity. What is it that you want that you've never had? And some of those things are perfectly fine. You know, like if you've lived in an apartment your whole life and you're like, man, I can't wait for the day that I own a house. We all want what we never had. It's not necessarily a bad desire. You desire marriage, you desire children and a family, you desire a better job, whatever it is, you know, if you keep those things in proper perspective, they're not bad things in and of themselves. And so on the tail end of that, the good life doesn't seem so bad. I think part of that is probably realizing and tying up into the earlier lyrics about climbing the ladder, and then you're like, what am I even climbing for? And especially the thing about ain't about what you did, it's what ain't about what you did, it's what you became from it. The good life doesn't seem so bad does seem to me to speak to this idea of, again, being grateful for some of the simpler things. Because if it is all achieve, that does become this chasing after the wind. And so, man, if you can be grateful for who you are as a person, grateful for your relationship with the Lord, and at the same time with those things and being content with what you do have, then the achieving just takes on a different light. And I think that's probably what he's speaking to in the good life. All right. And I think it just finishes out that same way. Well, let me know your thoughts on the song. Really, I loved the Ruelle parts. I loved what he brought to the song, just even from a production side. It's a really great sound within the album. So let me know your thoughts and if there's anything you saw different than me, and we'll have a conversation in the comments. Thanks for being with me for this one. Hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.